I got an email saying that I could be the next youth parliament. What? All on my own? I highly doubt that. Anyway, I'm not really young enough to join the youth parliament now. It's those days are over. Oh, hi everyone, welcome to this video, Sans Frontier video. My name is Jay Wakefield. And today what I have here is a copy of Symantec's Norton utilities. Now, I know that nowadays anything that's Norton branded is generally bloated and can slow your computer down to a pure crawl. However, it wasn't always that way. See, once upon a time, throughout the 80s actually, a guy called Peter Norton actually provided several utilities that would actually help ensure the smooth running of your computer. So something like, disk checking software, hard disk defragmenting software, I believe, kind of file management style utilities, and if I'm not mistaken, some kind of undelete kind of things as well. Basically, and if the worst came to the worst, you would be able to boot from the Norton Utilities setup diskette and hopefully fix an unbootable crashed hard drive system. And of course, Peter Norton kept putting out these utilities until they were taken over by Symantec back in the early 90s. And they still put out Norton utilities, as well as things like Norton Antivirus, and later Norton Internet Security, which included Norton Antivirus and things like Norton Firewall as well. However, this is a mid to late 90s version of the product. It came out in 1997, and I think this is version 3 or 4 for Windows 95, I forget which. But I've been after a copy of Norton Utilities for Windows 95 for some time, and this copy, as you can see, is shrink wrapped. I don't know whether it's still factory shrink wrapped from the 90s or whether someone's actually shrink wrapped it. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to unwrap this CD now, because I bought it to use it, not to stare at it. See if I can do this one-handed on camera. That would be. Do you know what? I'll be right back. Okay, that's it unwrapped, and it does actually look fairly new. Although it seems to have what looks like some sort of a date code. 707, hang on, no, that's not a date code actually. It's just uncode. Anyway, let's have a look at the case before we do anything. So as you can see, it's Symantec Norton Utilities. The predominant colour of the CD case is yellow! Damn it, Randy. And that was Norton's colour, and still is to this day, in fact. Although it is kind of going more black, but yellow is still definitely part of the livery of Norton products. And each Norton product had its own colour. So antivirus was red. Utilities was blue, SystemWorks was green. No, I can't mind what colour Internet Security was. I'd like to say that was probably black, actually. I'm not too sure. But, so this is Norton Utilities. Actually, it says on the case it's version 3.0. And there's a picture of a guy, presumably Peter Norton himself, I think. It says it's unrivaled problem-solving power, unrivaled control. Very nice. Then on the back, there's a wee bit of writing. It says something. Yeah. Oh, jings. The software on the enclosed disk is licensed to the user. Use of software constitutes acceptance of the terms of the online Symantec license agreement included in the setup procedure. And then there's some legal stuff there. Okay, anyway, let's get this open. Can hold it back no longer. There we go. So on the inside, what you have is you have the system requirements. To use Norton Utilities 3.0, your computer must have Windows 95 successfully installed and must meet the following requirements. Okay, so for this demonstration we're going to be using the Compaq Armada 1590 DT, which has been set up, as you can see here, with a copy of Windows 95. System requirements, let's have a look, see if I can actually run it on the Compaq. So it needs an IBM PC or 100% compatible, Windows 90 disk. This product will not run under DOS, Windows 3.1 or Windows NT 4. Oh, James, I'm going to need to read these out myself, actually, because I can't see it through the phone screen. 80486 or higher, I do believe. That's said. I really don't do well with the black writing on a yellow background, it seems. 8 megabytes of RAM, 16 megs is recommended. 45 megs of hard disk space for typical installation. 15 megs. Is that 15? Yeah, 15 megs for no, 35 megs for compact installation. CD-ROM drive, double speed or higher. Sound card optional, 256 color VGA or better video. iOmega zip or jazz disk optional. That must be for backups. So then you've got setup instructions and then problems with the setup wizard. I like how this software is old enough that it actually says start Windows 95 if not already running. And it says put Norton Utility CD in your CD-ROM drive. Setup wizard automatically starts. Follow the on-screen instructions. If it doesn't start, double-click the My Computer icon, then double-click the icon from for your CD-ROM drive, and then run cdstart.exe. Well, let's start it. CD is also bright yellow with, similar design to the box. And it has the same slogan on it as well. Okay, so let's start this. Now, I have used Norton Utilities in the past, but by the time I got to use it, it was the end of 2002, and by that time, it really was kind of bogging the machine down. Oh, now you've got a wee advert. Well, you've got a wee flash animation. Norton Utilities, Symantec. So now, what I want to do is just install Norton Utilities. Typical late 90s CD-ROM menu. I mean, how could it be anything else, really? Norton Utilities version 3.0 for Windows. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the whole caboodle on here, because I can. So that's everything that's going on. And now you can add Norton protection to the recycle bin, so that's the undelete. Run Norton System Doctor when Windows starts. It sounds like it's actually going to take time to boot into that. System Doctor alerts you to potential problems. Yeah, I'm not going to be doing that. Would you like setup to check for updates? So this must have been one of the first versions to actually be able to utilize your internet connection to get updates to the program online. You know, eventually you had a program called Live Update that would do it for you. Now, the 2001 version of Norton Utilities, a lot of people do say that that was the last good version before it went completely webby in 2002. Now, when I did have Norton Utilities installed... Oh yeah, of course it was Clean Sweep. That was dark green, I do believe, as well. When I had Norton Utilities installed back in 2002, the utilities themselves were extremely brilliant. I mean, I really had trouble, for example, using Windows 98's hard disk defragment tool. You know, it just kept restarting, whereas the Norton Disk Doctor tool, I think it was Norton Disk Doctor that had a defragger, it kept at it, it defragged, and it defragged quite quickly as well. Now, I know why Windows 98 defragger always failed. It's because, you know, the hard disk contents were always changed by the operating system. So the best way I found to defrag in Windows was to boot up into safe mode, start defragmentation, and then just leave it. I mean, I've heard, you know, back then I don't really think it was that common for people to leave the computers running overnight. You know, a lot of people were quite scared to do so. And, you know, it was considered a wee bit of a horror story that someone would have had to leave the computer. Well, actually, not just overnight, but, I mean, I've heard someone say that it took a couple of days to defragment their computer's hard drive. Obviously, it would have probably been clogged up, but still, you know, 2 days, and they say, oh, you'll get some speed from it, and maybe it did, but... yeah. It wasn't... I don't think it was that you got speed from defragging. And this is going to make no sense, but it was more that you would definitely notice a downturn in speed if you didn't. So I guess you did get speed from defragging after all, but you know what I mean, it's... I certainly don't think it was, I don't think it was a be-all end-all that computer magazines made it out to be, but it was still good to defrag because your computer... Well, I mean, defragmentation. If you can imagine a hard disk like a room. Now, Windows 9X was kind of a messy house guest, and it would put file fragments just everywhere. So it's like, you know, it'd be constantly having to look for them. You know, where is it, where is it, where is it? And defragmentation is basically, you know, mother coming into the room going, you've got to tidy, otherwise I'm going to get a black sack, and I'm going to get the lot, and I'm going to throw it out. So it's like, you know, then defragmenter actually, you know, organises all the different fragments so that when it tries to look for bits of a file, it would be quicker. But it wasn't as quick, I don't think, as the computer magazines would have made it out to be. You know, the way I read computer magazines, you'd have scores of people going, I've got a whole new computer now! All I did was run ScanDisk and Disk Defragmenter and goodness knows what else. Disk cleanup, I cleared a wee bit of space, you know. like a couple of terabytes or so. I mean, it doesn't matter that I only have a 6.4 hard disk in my computer. I managed, still managed, you know, and I'm no macking this up right, I still managed to clear at least 2 terabytes of stuff. So now, you know, so now, predictably, Windows is restarting, and we are now armed with Norton utilities, so in theory, this machine is ready for anything evil that might happen. Haha! In theory, obviously. I mean, if it's not going to protect it against, you know, physical damage. And so if I ripped out the hard disk and, you know, had a, you know, and arranged a conference between, let's say, the hard disk drive out of this machine and, let's say, my hammer, Norton Utilities would not be able to rescue it. You can't hack me or nothing, I got Norton. Now you've got a new icon on the desktop called Norton Utilities Integrator. Why did they need to use such terms? I just wanted an icon that says Norton Utilities. Why Norton Utilities Integrator? And why does it look like Nero Smart Start? It does. It looks like Nero Smart Start. I wonder if Symantec chased after Ahead or however you pronounced it and said, hey, you know, took one look at Norton 6 or Norton 7 and went, hey, you need to cut that out, that looks just like our product. You need to cut it out. They would if Colt was returning, obviously, but yeah. So what we've got Norton WinDoctor. We've got find and fix problems. I probably should do this properly. On the Norton Utilities window, you've got 2 panes. On the left pane, you've got like different categories of things that you can do. So, for example, find and fix problems, improve performance, preventative, maintenance, and troubleshoot. So let's have a look at the system information. I wonder if this is a... Oh yes it is, it's a Norton version. So that would give me... I wonder how good it is, actually. I wonder how much detail it can give me about my system. I wonder if it can tell me anything that I don't know. So basically what happens is, you know, this actually comes up, tells you what the program is, what it does. Just click continue. Processor, genuine Intel Pentium Model 416... something else. Model 4, 164 megahertz, stepping 3. The more you know. I was goaded by Compaq into believing this was a Pentium 166 megahertz with the MMX, but now I learn it's a Pentium 164. Well, so it's going to be a couple of megahertz off right enough. I mean, I've had 2.4 gigahertz processors clocked at 2.39 gigahertz, so oh well. For example, mass support on chip, BIOS date Compaq 26th of January 1998, bus type PCI, ports 1 parallel, 1 serial, 2 other, memory 32 megs and 87% is utilised, floppy disk 1.44 megabyte, hard disk 6 gigabytes. Some of you will remember I switched out the hard disk. I did try solid state. Well, I tried a CF card in this machine, but it wasn't fast enough, so I had a mechanical 6 gig disk that I threw in here because I wanted more room for my DOS games. Multimedia, sound CD-ROM. Yeah, it does have a sound CD-ROM. And then video, 800 by 664 colours, chips and technologies. 68554. Windows 4.0 build 1111, DOS 7.10, net clients the Microsoft network. So if I click through these, it'll give me information about different parts of my computer and of course a printer if I had one. It'll give me an idea of usage. So total physical memory, total Windows memory, 2070 megabytes. That's worrying. Back in the days of Windows 95 and 98, what I liked to do was make the paging file a consistent size. Basically, that would decrease disk fragmentation. What you'd do, and I'll show you this a bit later actually, is you would take the amount of RAM that you have and you would multiply that by 1.5. So with that number, you would then make your paging file 1.5 times the size of the amount of memory you had. So let's say you have a computer system with 32 megs of RAM. What you would do is you would actually change the swap file from dynamically expanding to a fixed size, and you would make that 48 megabytes. I did say 32. Yeah, should do, yeah. 38, 48, 32 times 1.5 is 48. You know what I mean. My memory's that bad that I don't know if I said the things I said. Internet, I'm not online with this machine. Don't need to be. I've got information about my multimedia and information about keyboard. Right. Let's see if we can fix some problems using the Norton WinDoctor. I'm guessing what the WinDoctor does. In fact, I can tell you what it does. It's a safe and easy way to diagnose and repair the most common types of Windows 95 problems. Norton WinDoctor can identify and fix problems with the Windows registry, system files, and software applications. It checks for problems such as lost shortcuts, invalid registry entries, broken applications, and missing DLLs. When it finds the problems, it presents them as an easy-to-read report and lets you select which ones you want fixed. So then it presents a wizard. I'm going to perform all the WinDoctor tests. Hopefully this shouldn't take too long. So it's going to scan the registry. The only thing that I worry about with this is... the only thing that I really worry about with this version of Norton WinDoctor is that it won't actually account for programs that have actually updated Windows 95. So, for example, Internet Explorer, that's updated Windows 95. A new version of DirectX, that'll update Windows 95. Newer software drivers, copy of Microsoft Office, blah, 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 blah. You get the idea. So it's, like I say, it's a way scanning different bits of the registry, and it'll scan the hard disk for anything that could be missing. You see, back in the day, Windows 95 and 98 and ME, well, all of the Windows 9Xs were very well known for crashing. So, obviously, there was a market out there for programs that could claim to fix your computer, fix your registry, that sort of thing. You know, and you know, with the premise that you run these programs, you know, you'll say goodbye to crashing. Finding solutions. Excellent. So that's it scanned. Let's see what problems they found. Windows has finished checking your problem for errors and has found problems. There are 16 problems in six problem categories. See, now I'm pretty sure I've taken care of this machine, so, but it doesn't surprise me actually. Having used utilities like these before, even using CCleaner today, it'll always find some sort of issues. So, invalid ActiveX COM entries. The ActiveX COM sections of your Windows registry contain one or more invalid entries. Invalid application paths. Really? Invalid file extensions. Invalid help files. Invalid shortcuts. Missing Microsoft shared files. Now these all seem to me to be symptomatic of a program that I've maybe uninstalled, but I don't remember having uninstalled anything on this machine. See, uninstallation of programs is not the tidiest of things. So it's like you uninstall a program and it'll leave bits behind in the system registry basically being the central admin office for your version of Windows. It, tells everything, how to operate, every file knows what it's doing, every shortcut, every file type that's known to your computer, every system file, all of that stuff is accounted for in the registry. And of course, programs can leave stuff on the registry. They can leave shortcuts to programs. That's these icons that will actually load the programs. They can leave all sorts of stuff like that. And I wonder what the invalid shortcuts are, for one. I wonder if I can see. I don't know. It doesn't seem to be. Problem details. Let's see Windows Start sent to my briefcase. That's because I deleted the briefcase. So now I can actually see as well where these keys are. Now, I've got to be honest, I don't know how these got corrupted. Oh well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can repair. Let WinDoctor pick the best solution and automatically repair the problem. Okay, so it's repaired one of the problems. So let's this time see what solutions it can come up with, so I can choose. So, delete invalid registry key, open the registry editor to correct the problem by manually editing the registry. Now, I will warn you, this is for advanced users. You have to know exactly what you're doing in the registry, otherwise you could botch your Windows installation. And if you're thinking, but Jay, this is Windows 95, completely irrelevant to me. I use Windows 7, I use Windows 8, I use Windows 8.1, I still use Windows XP, that sort of thing. The registry still counts. Don't mess with the registry unless you know what you're doing. And for that matter, don't use 17-year-old programs to mess with the registry if you don't know what you're doing. So this is asking me, for each problem, or I can use this type of repair for the other problems. So, invalid application paths. So this all seems to be working towards some of the Compaq drivers seem to be the problem, and that really worries me, actually. This time I've got three options. Fix invalid registry key with the C Windows cpqdiag.exe. So now it's actually found another solution. It must have found the file and it wants to link it with the correct file. So I'm going to let it do that. That would be a lot better for everyone. Invalid help files. Do you know what? I'm just going to close down the problems pane. No, maybe not. The details pane. Can I close that down? Can I close that down? Nah. Obviously not. I can just double click on it. Look at that. Invalid shortcuts. Microsoft shared files. So hopefully, if all is well, my computer will be much better for the experience. And if I wanted, I could scan again. And in real life, I probably would. Now I could run Norton Crash Guard, which would monitor and recover from crashes. There's anti-freeze, unfreeze frozen applications. I don't know if that works well. Settings, live update, get the latest update for Norton Crush Guard, and then help. That's pretty cool. Norton Disk Doctor. So what we're going to do is we're going to scan the hard disk, you know, make sure it's all hunky-dory. And we can select to either fix a floppy disk or fix the hard disk. So what we're going to do, we're going to diagnose it. So it's checking the partition table, the boot record, file structure. It'll check the directory structure, so that's the folders. Compressed disk, there's none. And then if I wanted to, I could do a surface test. So it would scan surface test. So it'd scan the disk sector by sector. Literally. And that would take quite a while. So, you know, again, that's not the sort of thing to do, you know, if you've got a report in, you know, or something, you need to use your computer there and then. It's the sort of thing that, you know, I would probably go out and let it do its thing. The boot area on this drive contains invalid information about the drive's free space. Windows may report the drive's free space incorrectly or slowly. Would I like to correct the error? Well, yes, I would. Oh, okay. So now it's doing a sector test after all, so I can skip that quite easily. So I think what it's doing now is it's rescanning. It's actually going to rescan just to see if the problems have been fixed. And hopefully they should have been. If not, you know what I'm gonna do to you? I don't know why the compressed file thing is getting upset. Probably it doesn't fully recognise FAT32, which it should, really. Maybe it's no, I think it's get the test. Everything is okay. Compressed disk isn't on there because there isn't one. Sorry, my mistake. So I could even undo the changes I've made. And if I wanted to, I could automatically fix the errors. Right, let's try the next utility. Unerase wizard. Well, that would unerase some files. So let's give it a wee shot, shall we? Let's see what's what. Right. Okay. So I've typed a document in Word. Right. What we're going to do, we're going to save it to the desktop. We're going to call it oops.doc. So there it is. I can open it. I can delete it, stick it in a recycle bin. The Norton protected recycle bin, sorry. Yep. And now I get the unerase wizard. So that will actually have a look for recently deleted files. So there's all the registry keys that I deleted. But for now, I just want to go to the regular recycle bin, and I can do that by right-clicking and selecting open. There we go, regular recycle bin. And as you can see, once again, right-click, select restore. The file is back on the desktop. And with it back on the desktop, I can open it. There we go. Now, supposing I actually delete the file. I mean, please excuse me. Supposing I actually empty the recycle bin. That's the file gone, you would think. Well, let's see. So if I double click on the recycle bin, it takes me into the Unerase wizard. So once again, it's now it's doing the Windows defragmenting thing. Restarting due to disk write. And there's the file. That's because a file is never really deleted on a hard disk. It's just marked as deleted, and the space is rewritable. Now I don't know how Norton must cache copies of these files, which must actually waste a lot of hard disk. So what I can do now is actually recover the file. And if I didn't know the file name, I could actually search for it. I could go through the wizard and actually identify the file and see if I can find it, because there was a lot of files in there. But I've actually found the file that I wanted. There we go. And it's recovered. So it's basically an extra step in deleting it. Basically, are you sure you want to delete it? Are you sure you want to delete it? You know, I actually do get an extra choice. However, if I definitely know I want that document gone, and yes, I do, I can actually choose to empty the Norton protected recycle bin. Now, what this will do, there are 20 files being protected on drive C. Are you sure you want to delete them? Yes, I do. And this will actually make it harder to delete them. This will properly delete the files. They will no longer be cached on the C drive. It will save space, but it will mean you have to use more advanced disk recovery software to get the files back. And it's easily doable if you have the right software, because, well, I mean, it's the same reason I deban my hard disks. It formats the drive and then writes over it with zeros, making it that bit harder to get the files back. You may notice I said making it that bit harder. That's right, it doesn't actually permanently delete files. Nothing does. The only way to permanently remove a file from a hard disk is to destroy said hard disk. And I've actually done that recently. You know, I was fixing a computer for a friend. I had to replace a hard disk. I ended up with the original failing hard disk, but because data could still be recovered from it, given the right set of tools, I actually had to take the hard disk apart, pull the hard disk platters out, and actually attack them with a hammer. I'm still picking up pieces of platter today. Probably wasn't the wisest decision I ever made. Anyway, that's the Unerase wizard. Norton file compare. Compare different versions of my files. Norton file compare lets you compare different versions of a text file. See what's changed between versions and selectively undo changes. It shows both files side by side, highlighting the lines that differ or that have moved. You can then selectively undo any changes. You can compare any two text files, including initialization.ini files, program source code files, and even HTML files designed for viewing on the World Wide Web. You can also use Norton File Compare together with the Norton Registry Tracker to track modifications and undo changes made to critical files in Windows registry settings. So let's actually try this. Let's see. I wonder if you could actually modify. You could have a look at an executable file. I mean, you'd get the hex, but if you knew what you were doing, you'd be able to certainly see if something has changed. So here it is, win.ini. Oh right, so I need two different versions of win.ini. Of course, file compare. So it doesn't actually make a comparison with an earlier version of the file. as if by magic. Anyway, let's have a look at improved performance. You've got Speed Disk, Norton Optimization Wizard, and Space Wizard. Woo! So Norton Speed Disk is probably that defragmenter that I remember from back in 2002, the first time I ever defragged the 2001 custom build successfully under Windows 98. So what I can do is I can click Start, and it's basically a more advanced version of the disk defragment utility. So it's a way to optimize the folders. It's still a way to optimize the folders. And it's still a way to optimize the folders. It's always best to close stuff down when you defrag. I mean, look at all this stuff I've got open in my system tray. I mean, what an example I must be setting for the kids of this world. Seriously. See, when I did defrag the 2001 custom build, I didn't necessarily notice that much of a difference. But then again, I was quite often reformatting the hard drive, so, you know, it wasn't like when, you know, we managed to reformat the when a family friend came out and had a look at the Compaq Presario and he defragged it. It had not been defragged since we got it in May 1998, and we're still using the same Windows installation. He defragged it on the evening of March 10th, 2001. See, my long-term memory is... But I can't even believe I just did that. But my short-term memory is... So it's now away sorting files. So as you can see, it can't do anything because disk contents keep changing. So to be able to do it, you know, I'd have to go into safe mode. Interrupted by user. Yeah. And like I said, if you're using Windows 9X, you want to defrag the hard disk, do it in safe mode. It'll be better for you. And actually, that's made it go extremely slow. Now I can use the Norton Optimization Wizard, and goodness knows what that's a way to do. It's going to turn off Lunar. Oh wait, there isn't any Lunar. So it'll do swap file optimization. Speed start makes your applications load noticeably faster. Registry file optimization recognizes Windows registry data for efficient... reorganizes Windows registry data for efficient storage and retrieval. Continue. So what's it going to do with my swap file? Basically, enable Norton Speed Start. Optimize my registry. Your registry has been optimized, after which your system will reboot. Please wait. Do you know what all this sounds like to me? Defrag, selective defrag, fancy other selective version of defrag. That's what it just sounds like. I think what I'll do is I'll pause here. This might be the perfect time to go make yourself a cup of tea, by the way. Now, I like this. What it's done now is it's actually rebooted. And it is actually defragging. What it's done is it's rebooted in such a way that nothing starts up. Literally, all it started up is Windows itself and the Norton defragger. That is a fantastic and extremely tidy way of doing it. Seriously. Do you know how I would have done it, though? I would have had it start under DOS mode. Then there really would be hee-haw running. Seriously. There's no drivers at all. Maybe you'd need a high memory driver. Excuse me. but just a text-based program using ASCII characters to actually show how the program is actually doing, is perfect. But then, having said that, I mean, you wouldn't get this much detail with an ASCII display, would you? But no, I'm really quite impressed, and it seems to be working so far. One thing that I did like, that I forgot to mention actually, was the Norton, the animations. Like there was that spanner with the computer in the last part of this stage. One animation that always had me quite transfixed was the Norton Clean Sweep 2002 animation, which is basically just some sort of a brush going. I love that. Actually, although I think it looked more like a paintbrush kind of painting on, dark green paint. So I find that quite odd, really. Didn't really look like it was cleaning anything, more it looked like it was applying a coat of paint. But I still liked it. So defragging, like I said, it can take a while. Norton, I think, is better at it than Microsoft's own defragment utility. But I'm not holding out any great shakes. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to stop the camera and let it do its defragmentation of the hard disk. Well, I was on my main machine and I heard this laptop play the Windows card very quickly, a few times in succession. Now I'm back at the desktop. So, let's go back into Norton Utilities, see what else we can do. Well, that was awful quick. Maybe it has made a difference. That's Norton. Let's have a look at the Space Wizard. Space Wizard helps you avoid wasting valuable disk space by identifying files, blah blah blah. I'm going to use the comprehensive option, see what that comes up with. And I'm going to use I'm going to optimize drive C. Yeah, I've just had a thought. If that much space is freed up, I probably should have actually seen, what disk space I have. Free 5.14 gigs. Let's actually see how much, if any, space is cleared up. And apparently, the Windows/temp folder. That's something I used to be on the lookout for, but in my old age, I've completely forgotten about it. So there's view temporary files, and total for selected files 124 kilobytes. Very, very small fishes. Commonly discardable. Yeah, anything with a back file, that's usually backup. 3.89 megabytes. Look for... yeah, maybe not, because, I've not switched this machine on much, so it's probably going to say that every single file. Now, this is dangerous. This is... yeah. These are basically system files in here. Seriously. I'm not even going to touch any of these, because these could actually stop the machine running properly. This is really quite dangerous. Okay, there's a lot of animated cursors and what have you, but there's... no. They're just gonna... yeah. Large files. Oh my goodness. Yep. And again, this one, looking for files larger than a megabyte. Yeah, you pretty much have to know what you're looking for with this one. So, yeah, that's probably why it's comprehensive. I'm just going to skip duplicate file processing, because goodness knows what it's going to come up with. So, what I've done is managed to free up 4.1 megs of space. I think what I can do is just... Wait a minute. Oh, no. I can delete that. That's temp. So there we have it. 4 megs of space. Now, it doesn't seem like a lot on a 6 gig hard disk, but this machine originally came with a 1 gig hard disk. You know, and 4 megabytes is enough to install, you know, a small game or, you know, even a piece of really useful application software from back in the day. So, you know, it can, you know, if you're running nearly on empty, you know, any amount of disk space helps. So, I mean, back when I had the 2001 custom built, you know, and I was running it on a tiny wee hard drive, I would have been disappointed that it wasn't like 80 megs of space that was freed up, but at the same time, I would have been thankful for the space that was freed up. Anyway, let's have a look at preventative maintenance. Let's see what that's got in it. Again, you've got the Norton System Doctor that will continuously monitor my computer for problems if I want it to. I don't. Rescue disk. Can image the hard disk, save a snapshot. Or Norton Registry Tracker, track and restore changes made to critical files. And then I've got, in the troubleshoot, I've got the Norton Registry Editor and the Norton Web Service. So, let's have a look. Norton Rescue Disk is basically, I can make a floppy disk with which I can boot from, you know, if the hard disk crashes. So basically this is like the Windows Registry Editor, except a wee bit more advanced, I'm guessing. So, I kind of like that. But there you have it. That is a look at the Norton... Whoops. That is a look at the Norton Norton Utilities version 3.0 for Windows 95. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. If you have, please feel free to subscribe to my channel. If you like what I do here on Videos on Frontier, please feel free to like us on Facebook. Both URLs will follow. Thank you for watching.